because I have two apps to show.
Hello, and we are live. Hello,
Hello.
everyone. Welcome to
Yep.
the 139 episodes. Let me get the title up. Episode of
Yep.
DevKami, and I am Judah.
And I am
And I'm
Tristan.
swimming. And of course, I'm swimming. I'm actually testing what is wrong with the battery. Don't worry about me now.
So, what is it about our title today?
What is
recently,
kita jaga? Actually, I don't know. I don't speak Malay, so
so
kita is like
uh,
us, and then
Us.
jaga is like play.
yeah,
I think.
jaga
Take care.
one by us, right?
Take
One by
care.
us. What are we take care of?
Take care. Take care.
Yeah, what are we take care of? That's the question.
Take
The
care.
short answer is recently I discovered that there's three Malaysian initiatives around the white flag movement to help Malaysians. So I have my opinion on that, but I'm going to share some of those out just because I think I may not agree with the method, but at least I had in the right place, so I'm gonna share the initiative so that you guys know where to go lah, and talk about a little bit about the app. But of course, recently we also Chile have set up some of the DevKami infrastructure into Raspberry Pi instead of getting a dedicated hosting. And of course, we also have.
They saved me $5 a month.
Yeah. So we're also doing. We also what else we are? Oh yeah, we're going to talk about. We're going to shift our infrastructure. We're going to scale down a little because this is mostly a hobby project. So we may talk about that as well. So
we go lean and
Yes.
mean. Make sure that we can have our runway extended. What's other entrepreneur talk
I
that
don't
you
know.
know?
I can't speak them anymore.
Extend
Yeah.
the language.
I used to be
extend
able
the runway
to.
and all of these things.
I used to be able to speak them.
Yes.
I lost the
Nowadays,
ability.
I'm an enterprise developer, so I do not know what I'm talking about. So let's start with events. So the first events we have is actually Ministry of Testing. Long time that we
That's
talking.
a very interesting topic, actually. Like Postman. Postman has changed a bit. It used to be a Chrome like extension, and now they have a separate application, right?
Yes.
It's been a
now it's
while
the-
now, I think.
It's been a while, correct?
Yeah.
So, I'm actually using Postman a lot. I like it, but it looks better if you pay for it. Which I
It's
did.
they're trying to make money lah. So
Yeah, correct.
so but
And
some of
then-
the feature is that they more like quality of life changes lah.
Correct. Okay, so the next event is Rust Meetup. So I think that's a two thing. I think for a lot, it's been a while since we actually had so many events. So yeah, if nothing to do at home,
Yeah.
I'll join that.
I wonder whether we should do something new regularly, like I don't know,
Yes.
something that is more interactive. Sometimes
Maybe
like
we
once
should.
a month.
We can do a book review from Humble Bundle. Like Humble Bundle has an interesting package nowadays.
Yes.
Like they have like
Really?
the
Okay.
React, Swift, like mobile apps, basically mobile apps.
Yep.
So you have Swift, like Swift for kids, iOS
Yep.
apps. They have Flutter in action. So
Mhm.
quite a good set of books. We can do something like that.
Yeah. So let's talk about news. The first one is Kaseya ransomware attack taking place. This may be a bit. In fact, they already released. What's the thing called? They released an incident report already. I lost it somewhere. But Kaseya is not the name of the ransomware. Kaseya is the company that got hit by the ransomware. So I think. So what else?
What do they do? What does Kaseya do? Is it like
Kaseya is a company that do IT services. Let me open the right link because as it turns out, I opened the wrong link. Han actually shared the whole. Yep, here you are. US companies. Hit. So the head, the company Kasaya is an IT company.
Supply chain attack.
Correct.
Mm.
So yes, it's a supply chain attack and all that. So yes, anything you want to add?
No, not really.
Be careful about your computer. Don't click any link on email.
I'm going to brief the folks like at work about OPSEC
Yeah.
tomorrow, like because I saw them sharing password like on the chat, like that is not an issue.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I need to do that as well because we need to do that.
Also, like even if you are going to generate a token key, how do we make sure that what are the best practices and like
Correct.
there should be an expiry and something like that.
Correct. So next one. Actually, it's slow news today. We don't have too many things online. So the next one that is interesting to me is actually GPT-3 model, but it's open version of GPT-3, I believe, or their own GPT version. It's a transformer-based text model, similar to GPT-3, so that you can actually use it to do your own inference and whatnot. It's open, meaning you can use it in your own system. But just because it's open doesn't mean it's free, because this model is actually pretty big. It's reasonably big because it's like 1.7.
Oh, talking about this is last week swimming was in the chat. Is that I was trying to pick up Matplotlib, and I was been complaining the whole day. People might whack me for this, but documentation for Matplotlib, especially example, they suck.
Yeah. Yes,
But can't really complain like that because it's an open source project. So
yes, you need investment and those things.
Should participate lah.
Correct.
But
so
the code quality is that is like really bad. No, I just go on.
Yes.
I have nothing to add anymore.
So I'm going to add that later. So it takes 5 weeks on TPU 256. It's pretty
5
heavy.
weeks only.
Yeah. So it's not something that you can do at home or with your pocket money. So this is actually a big effort on your own. But if there is way for me to use it cheaply, then I may actually look at it. So I'm actually interested in it because it's just a bit heavy for me now.
It's something that I need to pick up also. It's really disconnected in terms of the data and ML stuff.
Yes. So then go back to the complaint on Matplotlib and the scientific library in general. A lot of these things are done as needed, meaning only a few people are maintaining these libraries, right? Only a few people are maintaining the NumPy ecosystem in general. So if going to spend some time on code, you don't actually get the documentation is the first thing to go. And also, sometimes I like to say that this is mostly used by scientists, which is somewhat still true. But the thing is, if their goal is to deliver papers and not doing proper software engineering, then they realize that this is something to be invested on.
I would say is the consideration that people might, because code are basically snippets on the internet. So the danger is that the Stack Overflow copy and paste issue is that it might create an issue where people been circulating codes that are bad for, and also bad for security.
Correct.
Like something that allow like RCE, remote code execution, like something like that. The bad one is just it's not that bad. Like just the code that I saw, like is there's a lot of unnecessary inference needed. So performance wise, it's gonna be worse a bit for sort of a big enough data set lah.
Correct. Also, you're not wrong. In fact, you want to go really a bit ahead. Machine learning, there's a reason why OpenAI charge for using the model, because the model is expensive to create. and it's also expensive to run on your own. So it's not something I strongly do not believe that this is something that you can run locally at all. So as a result, this thing, while impressive, also very infrastructure heavy, and people are not shrinking it anytime soon. In fact, the whole idea here is so that hopefully
The
we have,
point of it is being good because it's big, right?
yes, which is actually a real problem by itself, lah. But yes, in short, yes. So let's move on. In fact, it's still news there, so I'm going ahead of what we have here. This is called jaga.co. It's currently under maintenance. In fact, they actually have a problem recently as well.
They've been
very
having
well-known-
heavy load for these few days.
Correct. So Malaysia are not exactly backwater when it comes to technology use. So people do use technology. As a result, in this economic situation, people do try to ask for help. As a result, there's many reasons. This kind of application have a lot of traffic. People need help, and people are passionate about giving help in a way that the white flag movement have been a bust for good or bad reason, because the economic situation is bad, right? It's very bad, especially for a lot of the Malaysian traditional-ish type of business, those that require physical presence. So either way, this is one of a few initiatives I'm going to talk about later, because I don't agree that this kind of problem requires technology. But that being said, if I think the heart is in the right place, so it's something to think about, lah. So let's go on. So let's start with our thing. What do you know about the white flag movement?
I
It's
just
something.
heard some from the news, like some people put a white flag and then the news says that people help them out. That's the most I can know about the white flag.
So the white flag movement is actually started by one of the. It's actually it's a grassroots movement where people, someone on Twitter is saying that if you do need help, raise a white flag.
You know what makes it a grassroots movement, which is something unhealthy. Unfortunately, I'm gonna still touch the line of politics. Is that if the government hates it, right?
Yeah.
It's mostly a grassroots movement.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is. In this case, there's a reason why it's a grassroots movement, because of policy failure and whatnot, right? But so as a result, people pick it up because these things spread fast. So flag are raised, then there's various people try to give help. Yeah, and that as well. The pandemic is giving a lot of suicide recently as well. Let's just say all these are actually we actually not just having a pandemic problem. It is, but pandemic leads to other problem, right? So
it's just something that just to let the people know that there's some people to go for some way to ask for help.
Correct. So I don't. Okay, so first thing first, I don't agree that this is a technology problem because.
It is not. Who made it a technology problem? It's not a problem.
Correct. So, but because if we want help, we can walk around your neighborhood and try to help your neighbors, right? If we really want to.
I think the thing about the portal is that it's a mean for people to find people around them that needs help.
Correct.
Well, only if they're registered or something, right? Like
somebody
fills in the
information for them.
Yeah. I think in this case, I think for kita jaga, it's just a simple form to say who are you and where you are and all that.
Yeah.
So like people just put white flags and then someone goes around and marks them and puts the
Yep.
address?
Yes,
think
but also the actually one of the better way they also do for kita jaga, which I hope the up later, is they actually show food bank. So you give food to food bank, then they distribute. That would be easier. as
Also,
well.
unfortunately, still gonna touch it. You remember a few years back, the KL DBKL was
Yep.
they outlawed soup kitchen.
Yes. Okay. You know what? You know what? I'm going to touch politics because
We have to
we're going
touch
hate
this.
it.
Yeah.
Here's why. Every time you've got multiple people with multiple opinion on the one real issue, you get politics. You can't
Yeah.
avoid it.
Unfortunately, it has to go to that.
Correct.
But the
So you
point
have
is,
multiple
stop. Yeah, don't bother too much. Like just
Yes.
help. Don't even like try to question the intention. Of course, there are some people that they're gonna abuse it, but think about the people that really need it. They get
Correct.
benefit.
I'm not going to change your opinion. I'm not going to change your opinion. You know what? Forget that. The point of this is to change your opinion, but if you do not, but think about this. If is in my opinion that let's say you have 100 people, you have 5 people that abuse it, but you're helping like the rest of the people. It's a good thing, and that's just me, right? That's just me. But either way, there's 2 platforms that you can explore that I know of. One is Kita Jaga, the other is actually Samba SOS, which I show on the screen. So again, multiple initiatives doing this. The heart is in the right place. I may not agree with the technique, but they try. If you want something that make it easy for you to help, yeah. So, for example, this is a food bank. Let me find my place. You will know where my home is. Actually, they don't do interesting. They can't find my home. Oh well, whatever. So if you don't, okay, so here's, if you do decide to help, the easiest, if you can actually go and just drop off, don't make a big hoo-ha, because people need help. It's not for promotion or whatnot. It's not what we call poverty porn, right? Help them and move on. It's not something that you need to show off to the world. Just know that you do the right thing. If you do, or if you prefer to make more, you can also help the food bank. There's multiple food bank that actually, so you can actually give them food, bread, and all that. Then they will distribute it for you. So because it's a pandemic, so find somewhere nearby if you want to. And this app actually helps if you are not familiar with who. If you're not familiar with who is doing what and where. So yes. So yeah, that's the first thing I'm going to talk about. Technology and helping people. Oh yeah, I'm going to go a bit of segue. There's party politics and there's policy issue. People can mix them up. I don't like to talk about party politics because I don't care about the political party, but I am passionate about policy issues, and it's a gray area that we sometimes have to cross. Sorry. Anything you want to add on this?
No.
Let me find another one.
It looks like do you know the technology stack that they're using here?
Let's see. Let me find.
So it looks quite like a simple application. So
Yeah, it is.
I wonder.
It is.
So
it's not
I wonder if aside
advanced
from this,
application.
there's something else. Yeah.
Not really. The tech stack wise is some of them are pretty amateurly made, but the main intention is not the technology.
Yeah, correct.
It's the discovery of
Yes.
of people that need help.
Yeah.
They are pretty amateurish in some of the tech stack.
Correct.
Which maybe
also,
is the reason why it can survive a lot of people visiting it, is because it's
not
not
really
that complicated.
No,
not even.
It's not really optimized that way as well. You
Mm.
can back them down easily.
Correct. And they already suffer downtime because of map services are costing money.
Map service cost money. The way you load the points, the lookup, can be costly in terms of server side as well.
Correct. So civic tech is hard in a way that you want to do good, but you need to also remember that technology stack costs money. It's not free.
Actually, one of the misconception is that people always ask, including the customer, is that Google Maps is free. Why don't you just use it? No, it's not. The Google Maps for developer, the SDK, the API is not free.
Yes, correct. Data Science Malaysia. Okay, Data Science Malaysia had another thing. I think Data Science Malaysia had. Okay, I'm going to go a segue. I'm going to go one segue, but let me find the food brand. Okay, here you are. I think this is a bit of a side story too. Yeah, I know them through Facebook. I think no.
What are you looking at? That's a lot of pins.
Yeah, I know. This is okay. By the way, kita jaga. We look this way. If it's got up, so it's really comprehensive.
Yeah, but it's also gonna kill your browser.
Correct. I'm actually trying to find the data science map. I kind of lost it somewhere. Give me a moment. If I can't find it, then that's it. I'm going to move on to the next thing because we have some announcement actually.
What sort? There's really not much of an announcement.
No, it's a very tiny announcement. It's a very tiny announcement. You know what? Forget it. Next civic tech initiative. This is I won't call. Yeah, you know what? Let's call it that. I mean, it technically counts. This from Hussein, which we interviewed. He actually gets some information from my Sejahtera hotspot and actually find out where is what.
So what's the blue and the red?
Blue is.
What is the shape? What is the meaning of the shape?
The shape is actually the boundary that actually map. I think it's a. So I think it's either the area tracked by a Sejahtera or they actually aggregate it so they can get one spot. It's something that you can get from a Sejahtera data. It's not an official API. It's something that he scraped from the app actually. So yeah. Let's find somewhere Solano with. I think the shape is actually the hotspot area, the cluster area.
That's the definition.
Yeah. Then the blue is actually the value. What's the number of case? 79. Blue had a smaller case than this. Then yellow have 14 case, then 7, then 45. So the color code. So either way, this is actually initiative by Hussein, which we interviewed 2 years back. So yeah. And that's it. Anything else you want to talk about this before we go to the next thing?
No, not really.
Okay, so the next thing is we actually going to we will slim down our infrastructure a little.
Not infrastructure, it's basically the subscription for the StreamYard.
So in this case, Chilean is moving some of the code from a VPN.
Oh no, I
VPN.
moved yesterday.
Yeah,
It's just a cron script for the StreamYard. Means
correct.
if you can sleep it down, you don't even need it anymore.
Well, actually,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
so
so maybe you should talk about what exactly was running in that Linode server.
yeah,
There's a
If you're-
VPN, a WireGuard VPN. There's a Factorial server. Unfortunately, the Factorial server doesn't run on ARM, so there's no more Factorial server. Nobody's playing it anyway. I'm just wasting CPU cycle there because I paid for it. So it's a $5 a month instant, but really the only purpose that it makes sense is a cron script to check for the StreamYard login credentials. Something like that. I'm actually I just ordered an air sensor, so probably I'm gonna plug the air sensor to it. It's hosted at my room. Unfortunately, I cannot show it now because I put it under the desk because the bloody case, the fan provided, the surface is actually badly made, so it scratches the surface, so it produces some sort of low and I mean it's quiet but high pitched sound, not when I try to sleep. So I put it on the side and put it down there just and put up some cushion there to cushion some of the noise. But the adventure was that I actually made it's a Raspberry Pi 4 with 8 gig of RAM. I bought it for I don't know how almost 2 years already, but it's sitting there. So just grab it and make use of it lah. Put it at because I have a network switch in my room, so I don't need to put it near to the already full living room stack. I have a small stack of networking stuff there because before COVID, like remember we still had to go out to record meetups and stuff, right? So
yes.
I had net. So internally, I use the home intranet usage is actually pretty high. So that's why I optimize it like even intranet wise is gigabit. So
Nice.
not really useful right now. Beside that, Raspberry Pi. The thing about the Raspberry Pi is that I use the Wi-Fi module to make it as an AP, and so my room actually has a pretty sucky Wi-Fi access because the room is just beside the kitchen. So
With the microwave and all of
the
these.
microwave, the stove, the water heater and the fridge, they sort of block the signal a bit lah. So I'm using a wired solution. So I made it into a AP yesterday, but the power is not satisfactory lah. So I get good signal in the room, but the throughput is not satisfactory.
Even with a better antenna? Oh, you didn't change the antenna?
No, I'm just using the onboard antenna. The fun stuff was that I have to relearn everything. The setup, to set up the network interface, everything, because these days, the background is that I'm using the Ubuntu 64-bit server for the Raspberry Pi because this Pi got 8 gig of RAM and Raspbian, there's no 64-bit Raspbian yet. So
Still?
I have to use
Really?
not yet.
Very strange.
The last update were like October last year. So
so you have to set up like DHCPD, the network.
That's the fun part
translation.
because Ubuntu is fully system D. So instead of DHCPD, I'm actually using the system D network D.
Oh,
and instead
okay.
of DNS
Okay.
bus, I had to
That
learn
I
how.
don't know.
Yeah, it's a good refresher. I learned how to use the system D, Resolve D, which is like DNS bus.
Yeah.
So
the DNS
previously-
caching thing that they have, right?
Previously for the AP, we use the host APD, right?
Yeah.
So system D has actually integrates with WPS applicant. So I have to relearn everything around system D. So at least now I know how to do a bridge routed AP lah. So bridge bridge means that it doesn't create its own subnet. It just link to the host lah, links to the main network lah.
So you're not providing DHCP IP addresses from the Pi, because you're bridging it to the.
I actually have another
router,
Pi
right?
as a. I actually have another Pi as the Wi-Fi firmware controller, the Ubiquiti Unify, and also run a Pi hole there. Pi hole also serve as a DHCP, so whenever you assign IP, you inject the DNS lah. So it makes sure that all the devices connected resolve their DNS via the Pi hole. So, but the Pi hole is I did some modification. I'm not using the Pi hole directly. The Pi hole actually connects to a DNS crypt proxy, which is actually DNS via HTTPS and DNS crypt with DNSSEC and stuff lah. So it's a higher performance DNS thing with it's just a bit of not really for security. Just I prefer things to be obfuscated a bit lah. It's not really I'm doing anything bad, but I prefer things to if I can scramble a bit, I prefer my data to at least scramble a bit. So and the thing that on the AP I have shit, I forgot what it's called. I actually strip all the. I have something that strip all the header. So but also the fun thing is I ran the only game server that I can run on the Pi that for the games I might play but I'm not playing is the Terraria server. It's a mono. It's actually a .NET one, but runs support. Mono runs it pretty well.
Okay.
It's around what the idle usage is around 24% on one core. Idle, still pretty high. But if I played it right, it's gonna take 100% of one core. So technically, of the core count is around 3 players comfortably, 4 as the maximum.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's it. That's the adventure for yesterday.
That's your Linode server, your $5 Linode server per month now lives in the Pi. Well, not all of the things that the Factorio you mentioned is not there.
Yeah, but nobody's doing it. You see.
Yeah, and we're not paying for StreamYard anymore, right?
Yeah, it's gonna lapse. It's gonna lapse this mid of this month, 14.
Okay.
So we decided not to. Yeah, previously we pay for it because there are people community that uses it. Now there's not much of usage beside us lah. So we scale it down a bit lah. So also will be mainly on YouTube lah now onwards.
Yep, correct. Because the free tier of StreamYard don't actually allow us to use multiple channel.
Yep.
Multiple channel is actually a premium feature. So we will share our from
like usual just like back in the old days lah.
Correct. And don't host too many people anyway. So
if anybody has an alternative, feel free to ping us lah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, probably
we can do OBS and all of these things.
Yeah, and I can just stream it to OBS. We can probably do it in Discord, like as a clubhouse.
Yeah.
We have a Fox clubhouse on the Discord channel.
Poor man's clubhouse. Apparently, Slack is having the same thing.
Yeah, but you have to pay.
Slack
actually has all these features, but it's locked behind paywall. So, but I don't know. So far, Discord wins because for me, it's everything is free.
Yes.
Then actually for our clubhouse that feature, multiple platforms is doing it. So yeah, and apparently a lot of people is only I'm not invited to anything. So
I'm not using it still So the app when it released on Android, sort of the people around me, the passion already dying down.
Yeah, correct.
So that's
also at that time, Clubhouse had the the big people are coming in, so it's the politician, the people talk politics and all that. Some people don't like it anymore. So yeah, a lot of this little thing lah. So the main thing that will change for you guys is we're going to go back to a single channel only.
Yeah.
Content is still the same, very chincai, super chincai.
Yeah, if you have any suggestions, just ping us.
Yeah,
We always have OBS to multi-stream anyway.
correct. Yeah, we know how to do it. We just lazy as hell. But
Yeah.
we know how to do it.
The point of making this run for so long is that we want to reduce the kind of work that introduced to us.
Correct.
So it
Because this is
becomes
a
like
hobby project.
weekly. Back to our original intention is a weekly therapy session for 3 of us.
Correct. Some of you guys should join.
Plus the regulars as well. Like Nicholas, the regular, I think he's
Yeah.
just like listening in the background. Like this is like his meditation. You know, you relax when you hear people
Yeah.
chatting around you.
Yeah, familiar people, right?
Mm.
Yeah. Now that we cannot go out I mean, it's been gonna be going into 2 years now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's not going to die down anytime soon for various
yeah.
reasons.
So yeah. Until then,
have another year of
until
the
we
same
have
thing.
the data rate, we're gonna do it here. lah. So any
Yeah.
suggestion, any stuff. But I because the Discord channel is there, so it just makes it worth it. Lah. There's the
Yeah.
voice, everything is nice. Like if you're online, if I'm working, I actually pop into the music channel anyway. But I'm not gonna talk lah.
So then for next week, I'm going to start a series on reviewing the regional games. So I noticed that there is a accumulation game. I think we can do a bit more about regional games. So it's indie game, so it's not expensive. It's not too expensive. So we can actually use it and do a review. Just to support the local game development community. So yeah, that's next week as well.
Are you playing
also-
them online on stream, or are you playing them before and then giving a review?
I may do that, which means that I have to switch to my laptop. But a lot of these are indie games, so it won't be too heavy. But then my laptop is not shabby, it's not too shabby because
Mm-hmm.
I'm running. I run Jurassic Park Evolution on it, Jurassic World Evolution on it. I also play like Hardspec 8, Shipbreakers. So those are 3D games. So far, the heaviest game I played is actually Jurassic World Evolution, and that, right? And maybe XCOM. I mean the new XCOM, which is not exactly heavy.
The one
What's
game
the new?
that
Is there a new XCOM?
No, this is
Chimera Squad.
the Chimera Squad.
Ah, the Chimera Squad. Okay.
So
Sorry, you were
it's not too
saying
bad,
there's one
actually.
thing that.
There's one game that I really like it. Briefland from Clyde.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it's
They're the creator of Ninja.
yeah. The problem is that I actually played it a day for. I'm gonna share the link. I played it for a day a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Then the problem is that I don't know. I stopped playing it after when I sleep that night. I actually dreamt about it, so like I actually got trauma from thinking too much about it. So, but I only played it for a day, but it's a pretty nice. I played a full day with Lynn. I would say it's something like Beyond the Spire. It's a cut based game because for people that didn't know, I cannot play the FPS.
Okay.
So my games are mostly 2D. Besides Monster Hunter.
Let me show the game that I got recently, which is a bit ridiculous. So let's see Jurassic World Evolution. So when I didn't go to when I didn't go to when I didn't work on the TensorFlow challenge, challenge. One thing I actually doing is playing Jurassic World Evolution, which I get recently. The dinosaur keep eating the park visitor.
So there's gonna be an insurance nightmare, right?
Yeah. So no, the dinosaur keep escaping. So that's what they keep
Yeah,
escaping.
what's the purpose of the game? Like, are you just not
It's a
prevent?
I
Are you
think
just preventing people from getting
it's
into
a
the
safe.
So
dinosaurs?
this is a park management game. So your job is you are to manage Jurassic World. So after the fall of Jurassic World, some company take over. So now
It's
you
roller
are
coaster tycoon, but
Yeah,
with
but
dinosaurs.
correct.
for dinosaurs.
Correct. So you have to manage the park. You have to build enclosure, a secure enclosure, and you need to set up the infrastructure so that you have enough power, you have enough research, and you need to control to actually protect the people when the dinosaur escape. Then you have to make sure the dinosaurs are healthy and whatnot. And when you have then each of the dinosaur have attributes. So some are social, so you need to have some social. Some carnivore cannot sit with each other too much because of each other affect each other. But you do want dinosaur to fight each other because apparently the visitor likes it because humans sucks. So yeah, this one. So another one I'm actually doing is Kerbal Space Program. Okay, here you are. Let me see from here. No, actually, I had Kerbal Space Program in the very early days. But the problem is the download is getting very slow. Because so I caved and I bought this for 58 ringgit with all the DLC. Kerbal Space Program is actually a physics simulation, but with building blocks for you to design your own rocket. So it's well known to be realistic. So the orbital system is very realistic. Uh, and when you launch a rocket, you have to build stages. You have to plan your delta V and all that a lot. So and it's actually NASA actually occasionally use it in their education program.
Yeah,
ESA also
unfortunately, there's
use program.
some drama happening with the death also, right? Recently.
But it's toned down already because the original. Okay, so a few years back, the original dev left, then the company took over. Then after that, they sell the right to Take-Two Entertainment, so they took over. Then I start Kerbal Space Program 2. Problem is, they have some argument with the studio. Somehow, then the guys from the other studios move up, which are called with all the core member into another company. It's a bit of a mess, but I think there's not much of that anymore. That is for Kerbal Space Program 2. Because you should get this game because there's no major update anymore. There's some minor update and all that. I recommend this game if you want to learn some physics.
So there's a few games I like to recommend.
Yes. Share your screen there.
But got some my script. I don't have, okay. Oh, I have a Steam page.
Actually, last one.
Something that might be controversial a bit is that recently there's some stuff going on with Factorial.
Yeah.
So it's something that me and my colleague like to use it to visualize data pipelines.
Yeah. Okay. So, you want to share your screen or
no? Nothing to share from my screen.
Okay. This game I want to get but I didn't get. This is MMORTS.
Yeah, but I heard that you
have
have to pay. I heard that you had to pay for the CPU cycle, right?
Yeah, which I don't like, which I didn't end up getting. I like the idea, but it seems
See,
to have a bit of
the
pace.
lifetime CPU unlock is 300 ringgit, so it's
Wow.
sort of interesting, but it's a bit too steep for me.
Correct. I like the idea, but unfortunately, it's the cost of it, so I didn't get it. And you build a fleet of bots using JavaScript. So yeah, I think people likes it. So
Yeah,
I think
but you can always do that with a pipe game.
yeah, correct. So, yes. So
So
yeah,
Tristan want to show how your screen
Yeah,
that
I
you
can.
share.
I wonder if I can share.
Yeah, I
I
don't
can
know how
probably
you're gonna
share
share
the
the
thing.
I don't know
Window?
how
Can
you're
I
gonna
share a
share the whole
window?
thing.
you possibly
I can share the whole screen. Let's see. Can move
But
this
how do you gonna
here.
be able to zoom a certain section? Oh, I suck at that.
I don't know. I can maximize the window, I guess. Let's see. Let's try this one. I'll share this. Yes. So this is the game screen. That's for Android emulators. And
Tristan is being really busy right now.
yeah, no, I'm not doing anything. Those are mostly like. So the thing about so this is Ragnarok Online Next Generation. It's a licensed adaptation of the original Ragnarok Online by Gravity Games back from 2003, right? So they brought in the same character designs. Yeah, you can see that the Peko Peko is here, and then the pourings for some of the things, for some of the images. The background music is the same. Some of the sound effects are the same. You can see that the buffs are the same. There are a few differences. So this one is like it's more of an AFK gaming, because people apparently nowadays they're more they don't have the same focus as we had before when we were starting off. So because before there's no such thing as AFK gaming. If you don't click and kill a monster, you don't get experience, right? You don't get the level up. Whereas here, like you can see that this is just like this what do you call this? The mage or the wizard is just like casting over and over. This is part of the game. I'm not doing any kind of third-party programs here. I guess the difference there is that you only do the AFK leveling up when you want to gather some loot, or you want to have a chance at a card, for example, which is like one of the rare items that you can get when you're killing monsters. Leveling up is not really recommended. It's not a recommended goal when you're doing AFK, because it's very, very, very slow. So the way you level up is you do quests, and it's limited to a few quests per day. Quests are like mostly like fetch quests or kill this amount of monster quests. You have this thing called RO life as well. So you have like 4,000 points called stamina points, which you can do and spend in fishing, gardening, mining, smelting, cooking, and crafting for alchemists or like merchants. And I feel that it's a very interesting. So they just started like 2 weeks ago. I feel it's a very interesting adaptation, because they don't, for example, they don't do player-to-player trading, whereas in the original Ragnarok Online you can do person-to-person trade. There is vending, but you cannot set the price. Like you cannot set a strict price, so you can't sell loot for 1 zenny, for example. You have a minimum and a maximum. So the economy is controlled, which is somewhat of a good thing because it's less prone for abuse. Like for example, I can't. In this character who can kill a lot, I can't like easily transfer items from here to this priest character, for example, which doesn't kill a lot of people, right? You can't like what do they call it? Like twink characters. You can't really bring a level 1 character into a level 50 dungeon and transfer over equipment, because there's no person-to-person trading. The thing that they have here is mostly the exchange center, where you get to sell and buy stuff. And like for example, here you have a range of selling, but you can't go below that. And you have a range up there. And this is somewhat of an auction system, so you can actually get like the price history, for example. So this is like when the server started, everyone was just selling it at the very highest price, and then eventually it's just going down. So and then because these things are getting flooded. These are items that you can get from an MVP, for example. So as people become stronger, and then they can kill more of the instance MVP monsters, like you can see that it goes up a bit, and then it's just like slowly falling down because the economy is being flooded by all of these equipment. Whereas some of these, for example, this in urgent demand, it's just like rising up and up and up. And so like I like the economy aspect a lot for this, and which is why I'm still playing it. It's not really for like playing it, because there's really nothing much to do except like get the story through the quests and do the AFK gaming, but there's not much to play. Unlike, for example, in the original Ragnarok Online, you can actually discover a lot. You can do techniques in killing monsters higher levels than you are. Here, we don't really have a lot of these things. But I'm more for observing how the economy is behaving and participating in it a bit, and probably like understanding what would be a good game economy design, since we're talking about like game design as well. Like it's for a multiplayer game, especially for an MMO, economy is one of the hardest and most difficult things to nail down. And it, like Diablo 2, was it that Diablo 3? Diablo 3
The
auction manager, whatever. Yeah, auction house like was a really bad thing that happened to Diablo 3, and they just like again, economy and balancing it is one of the hardest things. So like I think I mentioned like before the stream, one of the good things with this design is that there's not really a lot of real money trading. Like you can't give that, like I can't buy Zenny, for example, because there's no way. Like for one thing, Zenny is useless. You can't buy through the exchange center. You can't buy stuff from other players through Zenny. Usually it's just for like for NPCs, right? If you're buying pots from NPCs or you're selling loot through NPCs, that's really it. What the currency for player-to-player interaction is this thing called crystals. And I started off with 0, and then I just like sold things. And the way you get crystals is by buying diamonds and converting it to crystals. This is where the diamonds is where the publisher gets their money for people converting it into crystals. There's really no real money trading from the players, and which is good because you want the publisher to make money because you want your game to continue on surviving, and the less abuse there is by other players, by bad actors, the better it is for the game itself. So yeah, I'm just observing the whole thing. It's quite an interesting design they have here. Yep.
Yeah. There's a reason why I'm not into MMO game. I mean, I like that sort of system, but then you're also
you can say this is an MMO, and I'm supposed to be partying with other people, but as you can see, I'm partying with 4 of my own characters that I control. So that's I don't know if you watch the anime. So I'm a spider. So what? I think it just finished its run on Funimation. So that spider had like 4 parallel minds. So this is similar to that. Like you have 4 characters. This is it. It's quite interesting when you're trying to deal with an MVP as a party, because now you have to like manually control all of them. So it's an interesting click-a-thon for me.
Yeah, but so the game Bravely Default. Actually, most JRPG already like that. 4-party
Perfect
members.
default is like that as well.
Yeah.
Most
so-
recent mobile games are like this. Just because you don't have the control, the fine control of a mouse click,
Yeah.
like you can't really click and finally control where you're going.
Correct, but Bravely Default is turn-based, so you have to kill it. But there's certain abilities that actually a certain situation which allows you to do multiple move for that turn, which in turn kind of move it ahead. So that's what Bravely Default does. But it's still party member. JRPG are like that actually. JRPG are like that, except they don't do it in parallel. Bravely Default, they hack it a little in the way that sometimes they support each other and sometimes one will have multiple, so you can have some kind of that kind of dynamic, which is a bit weird. Yeah, but I should get a new one. I had the old one for my DS, which I need to fix next time. So we almost end. So here's next week. Next week, we're going to do live gaming on. We will do live gaming for the regional game. Let's see how far we can stretch that. I will also. I know I kind of promised this. I should submit the TensorFlow challenge soon, so I will share a YouTube video on that. Instead of using the Arduino, my video just off. Let me turn back my video again. So using the Arduino had a lot of little problem that doesn't work well for me. I'm going to use this. Also, tell me about what regional game that you discovered that you really want to try. I will get that. So yeah, that's next week. So anything you want to talk about before we leave?
Yeah. Oh, I just forgot that Han actually reminds me that the homepage was down. Yeah,
Yep.
I just make it up. So thank you to the power of free hosting.
Yes.
Thank you to Netlify. Oh no, so to GitHub.io.
Just get up, yeah. And it's up now.
GitHub.io.
And I did a C name, so yeah, done.
Yes. So nowadays, website do not actually need a backend if you use static site.
It's just convenience, just lazy, when you have an Nginx.
Speaking of CNAME, we had the DevOps thing last week, right, with Ruby? Well, no, not last week, like last Tuesday. And it's interesting that a lot of people don't really understand DNS, like A records, quad A's, CNAMEs, what are the differences, MXs. But because if you never configure DNS and you're just focusing on like your application and you push the Heroku or whatever Kubernetes, whoever set that up for you, you never get exposed to these things, right? So that's the thing. That's the
criticism system.
So
it's of understand get to know the foundation first, or else what I'm not worried about is that people might not perform well in a job. I don't care who is your employer or how you perform. The main thing is to worry about whether it's an attack vector.
Yes.
Yeah, it might cause harm to other people, something like that.
Yeah, that's the worst one. You want something a bit less worse? How not understanding
a bit less worse.
How not understanding your code
what can be worse than bad, right?
Can you imagine that you use an ON square algorithm on your AWS Lambda?
I tell you, okay. Wait, I'll let you finish first.
Right? You use an ON cube because you're not thinking about how algorithm works, right? And you put that on the AWS Lambda. I hope it don't get timed out. Which is why I said less worse, because the worst case scenario is to get very expensive Lambda, or you get timed out from your Lambda for doing something stupid like that, because you don't have enough fundamental. So what's your thing you want to say?
What happened is that I actually lost. It's a bit embarrassing. I lost the. Luckily, the homepage is very simple. I'm gonna share screen a bit. So I'm gonna share my screen. Let me close what were not necessary. So I think sometimes it's good to. So it's now transferred to here. I just need to create an engineersmind.github.io. And GitHub you magically make it live. So actually rename it. The embarrassing part is that luckily the homepage is simple. This is the homepage. I lost the source file. I went to archive.org. No, I should do this first. For the homepage itself, I actually recovered it from Google Cage. So I went here.
And view source and then put it there.
Yeah. So that's why that's the power of using vanilla JavaScript HTML. So
it's caching. I mean that's the point of caching, right? Like it's there until it changes.
But some of these are something we take for granted, especially for the seniors. So if anybody who wants to interested to see how these are done by the old folks, is that we are okay to share also. It's something we take for granted, like we just say, oh, it's that simple, but something it might be like swimming mentioned just now, is that sealing might not be as commonly known as people we thought. Something like that.
Yeah, correct. Because nowadays you just pay for service and everything. Kids nowadays, those days I have to configure my own DNS backend. I have to use bind. God.
No, until that it's not part of the job. I don't want to mess with that. Yeah, that is it's something I don't want to touch.
Yeah.
You know, Nicholas, I was asking before, like, where can I actually access their cloud chats? But you never actually answered me. I don't know. Like, apparently, they have like this roundtable thing. I wanted to watch it, but I couldn't find it, and Nicholas never told me where to go. So,
yes,
I don't know. Because during the Ruby DevOps presentations, right? We got sponsored by DigitalOcean, so I got like a few credits there, and I was exploring it. It's a very different DigitalOcean from the last time.
Yeah, they changed. It became much bigger.
Yeah, they have managed databases. They just rolled out they rolled out their MongoDB managed instance. I didn't know that MongoDB is still like something like people ask for, but I guess it is something, because they have like Redis, Postgres, MySQL, and MongoDB in their managed databases. So and like they have their Kubernetes engine. It's very good. It's an all-in-one thing. Just for the Postgres managed instances, I think I might start hosting a few things on DigitalOcean, because it's a pain to manage your own database server. You can pay someone else for cheap for hosting that. Production
scaling database is pretty tricky. So often if you notice is that often even people they scale vertically. It's horrible. Yeah, it's not
and failover as well. Failover and disaster management is also one of the things, like backups, doing it like regularly, doing a consistent failover, like your leader follower configuration. It's just so Nicholas, do you have a URL on this Tech Talks? Because DigitalOcean YouTube channel. I'll try to find it again. Yeah. So I've been exploring DigitalOcean, and it's quite a lot better than just a Linode alternative from before.
I need to explore this soon.
Even Linode looks, but Linode still retains their original look, but DigitalOcean was crazy. Like it's very different.
Yeah. I mean, it occurs to me that Linode is a bit more conservative, I would say. like the old school sysadmin type. Our infrastructure don't change.
Like you.
Yeah. I'm happy to have a Perl script that runs for 20 years. Run a Perl script for 20 years. Who need all this fancy?
Do you really do Perl though?
I did Perl once.
Yeah, we still have Perl in production.
Yeah.
Well,
new
Perl-
code's being written.
If for just simple scripts that you can't, like Bash is too complicated for, Perl is perfect. Like just to like move log files around or like clean up, sanitize passwords from your log files. Like it's great.
The script is written in 2000, 2007, 2008. So yeah.
So I think we should wrap
Shall
up.
we?
Yeah.
Shall
Yeah.
we say goodbye?
So next week we're going to do our gaming session.
Yeah.
So
Nicholas, just
Where's-
if you're around, just get on here, lah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick. I don't. At a certain point, people stop coming in here and start just going into the chat. We as long as you're in the Slack, you have the link.
Yes,
Mhm.
correct. All right.
Come
So
in.
see you on.
Yeah.
Yes, join us.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes. I'm going to end channel.